What's going on? Today we're in the office because Jake's outside trying to get ready to paint his car, so we'll be showing that off pretty soon. But in the meantime, we're going to be testing out this Polycryl Pro Max Black from VIPER Products. They sent it out to us. And basically, VIPER Products is just your complete interior restoration. So we've got some free seats that were donated because they're pretty messed up, dirty, filthy, faded. And what we're gonna do today is try to bring them back to original look. So we're gonna be using this polycryl dye. It's a water-based, so it's not gonna be crusty like paints or anything like that. And so as soon as we get it done, we'll kind of go over it and get our review and see what we think. So the first step, we're just gonna kind of vacuum them out, clean them a little bit, just to kind of see where we're at with all the dust and debris off. So we're gonna get it cleaned up. Just so we can see how nasty, dirty these seats actually are compared to this one. We've just kind of vacuumed it up. That circle there is actually from the vacuum cleaner, so we'll vacuum that again. But already we're looking a little bit cleaner, but we want to get them back to black and original looking. So next step, we're gonna finish vacuuming and then we're gonna clean it off with a little isopropylene alcohol and a light bristle brush. We've got a soft bristle brush on our little impact driver. We're gonna go really light with it because we don't want to damage the fabric. And then, not purple power, even though that stuff's awesome, we just put the alcohol in here so that we can spray it and not soak and saturate the seat. So we're just gonna kind of give it a light mist over the whole seat. And then we're just gonna kind of lightly go through and just kind of try to get some of the excess debris off, because we want a nice clean surface to actually be putting the dye on. Okay, and we're just gonna hit it again. Okay, now this one we've actually gone through and cleaned up. This one we just kind of vacuumed, but not. So you can kind of start to see that this is getting all the dust and debris and all the excess junk off. And so now we're actually gonna start prepping it for the dye. We're gonna go ahead and just take this seat off. That way we've got better working room, and then we'll do a side-by-side comparison of each after we're done with the dye.
Okay, so we're working with chemicals, so safety, wait a minute.
This actually isn't like normal chemicals, so none of this safety stuff is actually required. There's not gonna be any fumes or anything that can be harmful to you. We're just gonna go ahead and mix it. We're gonna use our mixing cup. We're gonna do about a 4-to-1, 4 parts of the polycryl, and then just 1 part of water, just to kind of reduce it down because we are doing cloth. Now, if you're using this for the vinyl, you can just pour it right into the gun and spray it and you're good to go. But we want to make sure that we keep that nice soft fabric feel throughout the whole process. So we're going to be doing a couple things a little bit different, but we'll go over them each step of the way. All right, so we've got it filled right up to that 3 line, although we moved the cup a little bit, so it kind of wiggled, but now we're gonna go up to the next line, right there. Okay. And we're just gonna kind of mix it around, probably get a stir it up a little bit, and then just get ready to spray. One last thing we're gonna do before we spray is we're gonna cover this up, because we want to try and keep the white there, of course, and so we don't want to spray over that. And then we'll go back at the end and we'll just try and touch it up in between each individual letter just to make it look as nice as possible. So we're just using regular masking tape, and then we're going to trim it down to try and fit as close as possible, because that's ultimately what we're wanting to do, is just get it as close to the letters as possible so we can spray the dye and then go back and clean it up afterwards. All right, so what we're going to be using is just a little Harbor Freight HVLP gun. We've got this modified line just to kind of get a little bit less airflow, and then we're going to adjust our airflow to a little bit lower. You know, we don't want high, so we're going to adjust it down to probably about 30 psi, 25. It just kind of depends on preference and when you're spraying. And then we're just going to add the dye. And what I like about this gun is you can actually move this so you can spray at different angles. So we're going to start just kind of going crisscross on it, so we'll get the angle straight up and down. Okay, and that's just one coat, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to take that bristle brush and just kind of scuff it up a little bit, just to kind of break everything up, make sure it's going on nice and smooth. All right, now it's time for coat number 2. Alrighty, and then we're going to hit it with a 3rd coat, possibly a 4th. What we're trying to do is just get it back to that black where you can't see the faded lines of the seat belts anymore, and just get it back to that original look. Now we're going to take the tape off and use little Q-tips to dab in and around where the letters were to try to get it as close as possible. Now let's do a little before and after comparison. For my first time messing with this polycryl, I'm definitely impressed with the outcome. We've got what we looked like before versus what we look like now. Still have a little bit of seatbelt straps, but that's probably for me getting impatient and not just trying to put multiple coats on. We put about 3 coats on, brushed in between each coat, used the Q-tip to get in between there, so we've got all of our letters and everything. But all in all, I'd definitely say this is a worthwhile product, especially considering these are about a $900 pair of seats that were given away for free because previous owner thought that they were just junk. But as you can see, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So now we're going to go ahead and do the other one and let everything dry and wait and see what the finished product looks like. So this is the finished product. They're still drying, so there's still some wet spots that you can kind of see. But compared to what we started with to what we've got now, I'm definitely happy. So you can see, you know, here's the wet lines, little wet spot and stuff as we were trying to just hit everything nice and heavy. But going back with that Q-tip in between, can't even tell. Over here, we just got a little bit heavy on that C with the Q-tip, and so learned our lesson. This was actually the first seat. This was the second one, and yeah, this is definitely awesome. Pretty excited. Now we can throw these into one of the cars. Haven't decided which one yet, but fantastic product. Definitely check it out.